So I think about how there's some words that have lost its relevance of what the intent of the author meant, especially in the Christian circle, right? So words like being born again. If you're not Christian right now and you hear someone say you must be born again, you don't really understand the context at which I'm saying what I mean when I'm saying this. But this was not the intent at which when Jesus said it the first time. So Jesus was speaking to Nicodemus in the Bible, and he says, in order to see this kingdom that I have brought, you must be born again. And now we've coined that term as a Christianese term, as a spiritual term, but at the intent at which Jesus meant it wasn't like that. So if you understand anything about teaching, teaching is a beautiful art, right? Any good teacher knows that you connect what the person knows to what the person doesn't know to try to create a bridge of understanding where you can take them from where they are to where you want them to be, right? So Jesus was using examples and metaphors of the things that he sees around him and things that people know to try to explain to them heavenly things. And he used one of those terms as born again. And Nicodemus asked a very good question. What does it mean that I have to be born again? Do I have to go into my mother's womb and be born again? And Jesus said, no, you have to be born again in spirit and in with water, right? So to understand what it is, we have to actually analyze what it meant to be born. All right. So there's a child in his mother's womb, right? And so the father knows that this child is there, but he's unable to have interactions with that child because that child is in a world where it cannot interact with the father, and the father is in a place where he knows that the child is there, but I cannot communicate with that child, and that the father has to wait till that child is born into this world, and then he can hold his child, and then he can have communion with his child. And Jesus saw that, and he said, this is the best way to explain to you what it means to be of my kingdom. Though you are alive right now, though you're living in a world, but just like that child, you are limited in your understanding, you are limited in the way that you can interact with the Father, but you need to be born. And he said again, because he knows that you've been born before. So you need to be born, just like the way that child is born out of the mother and now can interact with the Father. You need to be born again. But this process wouldn't happen by going back into your mother's womb. This process would happen by being born by the Spirit of God. So God's Spirit will come in you and he will make you come alive. And he says born again with water. So the act of getting dipped into water and coming out was a sign of repentance that you've turned away from the previous way that you used to live and to the new way of living. Like just like that child now, all that child knows in the mother's womb is the world inside the mother's womb, and he thinks that that is all that it is. But when you're born again, life becomes new again and you see life in a totally different way. I hope that helped.